Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to part 3 of the Monolith patch note review. I am Sylphin. This video is for the cards, all of the changes that have happened to the cards in this Monolith update. We are taking a look at that. I am also I had already recorded a video about monster cards that I thought would be absolutely monstrous in Monolith, but I'm gonna amalgamate that video into this one simply because all the cards are changing. So we're gonna do that kind of as we go along here, looking at the cards and how they have exactly changed. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Some huge announcement right off the bat. Energy damage, energy armor, we knew that was removed, but penetration. Both kinds of penetration have been completely removed. You are now no longer able to penetrate armor. I think that is one of the biggest moves here in the meta. Being able to negate armor it actually increases armor's usefulness. If you build it, you got it. And I think that's going to make tanks actually be able to use it and then get benefit from. Whereas if a ranger does it, then they're not doing the damage that they need. So then the tank can just kill them. And I think that is almost a good move. It seems really huge, but I agree with that. That's huge news. Penetration is no more. Cooldown reduction has been removed as a purchasable stat, meaning you can't upgrade it yourself. You can't get upgrades for it, but there are unique bonuses for cooldown reduction. You can now only get 10% as a unique fully upgraded bonus. So that is the big difference with cooldown reduction, because they have reduced cooldowns already. Getting one of those upgrades by 10% cuts things down by about 10%, and should very interesting. Cooldown reduction, it was kind of like it didn't really directly affect anything, but it did kind of secondarily, but then you ran into mana and mana regen issues, so it was really complicated of a stat, and I think that is the correct way to design a meta where it's not really much of a play. Having a little bit is kind of cool, but yeah, I very much like that. So guys, order cards. I'm really excited about this as a support main myself, Muriel main. Some huge differences in here, and a lot of it is kind of gets repetitive, but hopefully we'll go through this as fast as possible and not kind of bore you to death. This is going to be a long video. If you don't like it, don't watch. Stasis Gem reduced active cooldown to 45 seconds from 180. Now you can use that in those little skirmishes to get you out of bad positioning, and then, or at least reduce, avoid that huge combo from a countess and then actually escape, something like that, and then use it in an ensuing team fight that happens a little while later. Stuff like that. Love that change. Much more viable. Offensive maneuvers no longer provides armor against basic attacks, but you heal 10 damage whenever you hit by an enemy basic attack. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to see if that's actually useful if you're going up against maybe a double ranger comp, but that would be really risky. Could certainly be an interesting purchase. This next one I am so excited about. This I am through the roof with this one. Honor the Pure reduces cooldown to 45 seconds from 120. You can use it 3 times as often now. Reduced the shield duration though to 3 seconds, which is okay with me. 5 seconds is pretty long. 3 seconds makes it more purposeful. You have to use it now, only in the next 3 seconds, and that's it. But look at this. Increase shield value to 125 plus 25 times player level. 450 plus this 575, hopefully that math was right, at level 15. That is huge. That actually means something in those engagements, but the card has been increased to 6. So this, I run Honor the Pure in my main Muriel deck. I am so happy about that. I'll have to maybe adapt for it a little bit, but that is worth its weight in gold. I saved a lot of people with this, how it currently is. So I can't imagine what this is going to be. Muriel is going to be absolutely unstoppable with this. I am so excited to use Honor the Pure on Muriel. Now there's two cards here that are very important and they're right beside each other and huge changes. One is Everglass. What it did was it gave you movement speed as an active ability, but now it's a passive ability. It reduced the movement speed buff duration to 1 second from 6 and has now reduced that movement speed to 40. So it no longer provides cooldown, but instead mana regen, but it's a passive movement speed buff duration. So that's going to be huge. Something you definitely need to consider, ladies and gentlemen, in Monolith is Everglass. It is a fantastic card. Next one here is Satori Cloak. We all know what it did, but it has now been changed. It now shreds a flat 15% of enemies' base armor, down from 50% of your armor, and consecutive hits don't stack. So it's now just a flat shred of the enemy that you attack. So it's just basically you use it, you hit somebody, and it shreds their armor, their basic armor. Reduce the shred debuff duration to 1.5 seconds though, so somebody that can stick to their target, make sure that that's always being applied. That is going to be very, very important. Also, it now doesn't grant you it is attack speed instead of ability armor, so you won't be able to use it to it as a tanky card. Now it's pretty much a attack. It's definitely an offensive card for sure, because if it only lasts this long, you have to stick to the target, and if you're sticking to the target, you're going to be doing damage. So the attack speed, stuff like that, very much like that. Very interesting. Satori Cloak that's definitely not going to be as effective as before, and it is basic armor, so it's going to benefit your basic attack heroes much more than any spellcasters or Countess, for example. Tempest Pearl is another card here that I suggest you use. It is a fantastic card, and you can use it twice as often, but it's half as effective. Tempest Pearl, absolutely need to consider using this, ladies and gentlemen. It is fantastic. It is one of the strongest support cards out there. It gives 200 max movement speed to, or rather 100 now, to all friendly allies in the vicinity. That is going to be huge. Every 60 seconds, monstrous. Tempest Pearl is absolutely something you need to consider if you are an order hero, especially a support. Tempest Pearl is and Honor the Pure, absolutely two cards I have to have on my Muriel. The next one is also very, very powerful. Purity Sensor. It is an AoE debuff, so you can basically cleanse. Cleanse the whole, everybody around you. You can cleanse them of debuffs. So every 90 seconds now, but it is one more CP, but I think that is absolutely worth it, because you're gonna have to deal with your casters and your rangers needing to put distance between themselves and their targets. So being able to cleanse your team of debuffs is absolutely crucial. One thing here that I want to point out is if there was cooldown reduction on a card, it's basically been switched out for mana regen. that's basically the general trend. So any card, ladies and gentlemen, that had a cooldown reduction on it before, it's now been switched out for 1 point of mana regen. This next card, ladies and gentlemen, is one that lots of people use already. Not really too much to say about it, but 240 seconds down from 300. So if you don't get that last hit on a hero, then you're not suffering as much as before. Assists, though, no longer reset the cooldown. The cooldown now only resets on player kill. So you have to hit that last hit on that hero in order to get that blink shot blink. So increase the window, though, to earn a kill to 8 seconds. So you have a whole 8 seconds instead of 5 to make that kill happen. I kind of like that. It makes it a little bit more it raises the skill cap of this card. I would have intuitively thought that it had been last hits anyways, but I was very pleased that it worked on assists, made it really easy to use. But I think I like this. Raises the skill cap, makes it much more of a engaging card to use. This next card here is very important as well. Changes this so much, makes it actually viable. Barrier of Will, just like Honor the Pure, has been changed. 45-second cooldown instead of 120. Shield duration to 3 seconds instead of 5, but the exact same 575. Right? I'm pretty sure. No, I'm completely wrong, aren't I? 250. I'm completely wrong, aren't I? 250 plus 125 is a 375. That is 500. My bad. 500 shield. That's huge. Absolutely huge on a really support tank Richter, which I think is going to be a thing. You're going to absolutely be able to use that if you want to play your gadget a little bit more supporty. She is kind of classified as a support caster. Caster that's pseudo support. You can actually do that and actually make an impact with that 500 shield. Incredible. I love it, love it, love it. Another very monstrous card that's going to be really good in Monolith is Nano Drive. What it was an AoE slow. No, per enemy, sorry, per hero that was around you, you gained movement speed. So every 45 seconds you're going to be able to use it, but it has been reduced significantly. So you're going to get a smaller bonus, but I mean, as long as you can get out of melee range, you're awesome, right? So that is going to be very big. Nano Drive, definitely something you need to consider for now, especially like a Gideon, being able to get into the thick of things, use your ultimate, and once you drop down to the ground, well, you kind of need some attack speed to get, or some movement speed to get out of there. Maybe you want to save your teleport, hit your Nano Drive, because you'll have all those heroes around you, be able to book it out of there with that enhanced movement speed. Another monster card here is Crucial Snare. What happens is when you hit it, when an enemy hero hits you with a basic attack, they are slowed. So every 60 seconds you can use this. The slow duration is now only 2 seconds instead of 4, but they are reduced they are reduced by 250 move speed. 250. So if you are a fighter and you want to close that gap, you can use this to slow them down while they are attacking you, close that gap, and stay on them. Being it intellect, that does make it a little bit more of an issue if you are a tank and they are and you're say Richter, for example, and the enemy is attacking you, and you can hit this, slow them down so that you and anybody else can catch up to them. Definitely something that you need to consider in Monolith. Another fantastic card is Teleblink, one of the blink cards that lots of people are aware of and use at this point. It's increased a little bit, but check this out. Reworked mana cost to a flat 75 mana. That is incredible. Absolutely love that. I did find that the 35% of base mana was a little bit too much, to be honest with you. So 75 mana, that is huge. absolutely something I am going to put on my Gideon for sure. Maybe even with a with a blink charm on top of that, so that you are the slipperiest hero ever. Maybe I would go with this teleblink instead of a blink charm, because you can use this to engage. You can use your teleport to create that distance. Hopefully by that time you haven't been attacked in 5 seconds, so that you can use the teleblink again to make an even bigger gap. So I think I'd definitely be running a teleblink on my intellect casters for sure. Even anybody else that is intellect as well. A Richter that can blink right in and engage, and poof, there's his ultimate to stun everybody in place. Incredible. Another very popular card here is Charging Brute. It has been reduced in effectiveness for sure. Reduce the movement speed buff duration to only 5 seconds. So if you can't get a last hit within 5 seconds, it's gonna hurt. Reduce the move speed gained on unit kill to 10 from 20. So it's basically half as effective as before. And you know, every 5 seconds. What that will mean though is that it's really just for the lane phase. It's really just for when you are in lane. You're going to be able to you know, get that last hit, and then for 5 seconds later use that to back up, use that to create that distance, keep you at just to start. I think it is going to be a little bit of a supplement to your attack speed. So I like it. It's definitely even less viable for me. I never really had very much luck with Charging Brute, but it is a very famous card to use on Sparrow for sure. So still effective. I'll just be interested to see how many people go away from this now with this changed. One kind of the changes that I'm actually really interested in is the spiked bone plate and snake vine mesh. What these used to do was give 1 CP of damage, 1 CP of energy, or physical barrier, and then the fully upgraded bonus was damage. But now only the maxed bonus, the fully upgraded bonus, gives you that basic and ability armor. So what this means is this is only going to be damage. This is only going to be a damage card. You can only upgrade it with damage, and it'll only provide you with damage and just a little bit of basic and ability armor when you fully upgrade it. Is this maybe a hint of a less armor overall meta that is available? I think it is. So spiked bone plate will give you that max bonus for basic armor, excuse me, and the snakevine mesh max bonus of ability armor. This next card is one of my favorites, at least in idea, the idea of it for corruption heroes. What happens is on a basic attack or ability, is that you steal movement speed from your target. So it now has a 30-second cooldown from 180. Absolutely makes me think that they want you to use this on an assassin like Kalari, so that you can actually use that in more frequent engagements and kind of increase the viability of an assassin. I love it, but it's now reduced it only to 40. So it's significantly less, and the duration is only 4 seconds. So we're gonna have to see if that's too little. We're gonna have to see if that's too little. But with every 30 seconds and only 40, maybe that is just what you need to stay with them just for a little bit. Get that damage in and get out of there. A big one here is Scarab Claws. It's been reduced. The armor shred has been reduced to 20% from 100. So no longer can you completely decimate somebody that had shields on them. You're only reducing their armor by 20% instead of 100. So finally, that it no longer deletes a Muriel from the match if somebody happens to have it on the enemy team. I like that. It's a little bit too much of a it's just cheesy. I don't like that sort of a complete, you know, counter to something in the game. So I very much like that indeed. here is a great time to talk about the keys. Because there is no harvester, there's just the amber link, you don't need keys. But they have keep the keys and recalled them blank siphon, or in this case executioner's scythe. Now what they do is they just help you out in the jungle. So the stalker's key is now called the stalker's siphon. Basic attacks on jungle minions restore 8 health. They added attack speed and added attack speed as a max bonus stat, so it's more, helps you more with the damage, hopefully helping with that gank potential that maybe they're trying to emphasize with the jungle here being completely different, really. Now the executioner's key is now the executioner's scythe. I love that. Scythe. Basic attacks deal 15 bonus damage to jungle minions. Imagine a Chimera's Unleash unfortunately isn't his basic attack, so that would have been crazy, but deals 15 bonus damage to jungle minions. Remove the advanced harvester. Obviously they've added crit as the max bonus stat, and they've increased it just because it's going to be that's a lot, especially if they're adding crit, then they need to increase it to 3. Now the Reaper's key is now the Reaper's siphon. Basic attacks on jungle minions restore 8 health, just like the Stalker's siphon. They've added power as the max bonus stat and increased the card slot. Because it already gives you some damaging and whatnot, they had to increase it if they're going to add that power as well. Very, very cool. I like that idea. Now junglers are going to have an easier time in the jungle because they don't have that key, so you know, they don't have that harvester to maintain. They have the amber link, but they need damage in order to defend it or get the buffs to feed it. So very much like that there with the key changes. And right here you can see that they do a little cute tribute here. Harvester key has been removed from the game. No more harvester key. The one interesting card here that I would be more interested to try, especially on a Kalari of all people, is the Thunder Cleaver. Reduce the cooldown to 20 seconds from 30, so kind of just like that Siren song up from above, you can use this as an extra source of burst. And obviously while split pushing, you have that AoE physical damage, or now power damage, ability damage, whatever it is. Increased cleave damage to 50% from 20%. That is huge. All of a sudden, Kalari, who has only a cleave of 5%, now has 55%. She can almost be as strong as a Grux. If you can build Kalari now with crazy amounts of damage, go into lane wave and cleave for 55% of that crazy amount of damage you're going to be doing. Nuts. Plus you have that that AoE burst every 20 seconds. Fantastic. Love it. Thunder Cleaver is so much more viable now that they have made that significant change here, as well as the cooldown. Now here are some more keys. The Lazarus key is now basic attacks on jungle minions deal 15 bonus damage and restore 8 health. Remember that is an epic key, and it does cost 4 or 5, something like that. I think it's 4. Beastmaster's Scythe, basic attacks deal 15 bonus damage. Again, they've added attack speed and added max health as a max bonus stat. So again, you can see that they're trying to add more damage, hopefully increasing that potential that the jungler has to affect the rest of the game. The Lord's Siphon used to be the Lord's Key, now restores 8 health, no longer provides cooldown reduction, but mana regen for those mana hungry junglers. Somebody maybe like a Crunch might be able to use this, but we'll have to see there. That's maybe somebody that I would use this for. Now, as a support player, I care about this. Circlet of Health, the aura has been reduced to 2.8 from 4.2. That's not the biggest change. That is 1.4 less health per second. We're gonna have to see. All what I know is that 4.2 did seem like a bit. You were pretty much always at full health in lane, as long as you didn't take too much damage. So maybe this is more appropriate. So we're gonna have to wait to see how that fixes. The Circlet of Mana, though, has been cut by a third to 0.6. Again, I was basically always at full mana when I did get that as a Muriel. So, you know, having basically free free Serenity off on the enemy team maybe was a little bit too much, so we're gonna have to see, but hopefully that's not too much of a nerf. Hopefully that's still viable, because I loved that. Now these next cards here, we can go straight into them because I find it very, very unique. Look at this right here. Now provides a unique maxed passive of 10% cooldown reduction. So the Chrono Spike, Chronomancer Disc, and Chrono Vor. These are the cards here that give you that cooldown reduction that is unique to these cards. If you can't get all three, you'll only get 10% cooldown reduction. It's unique. You can only get it. That is it. This is the only source of cooldown reduction that you can get one of these passives. So Chrono Spike, and they've all been increased to 5 CP, just because now that is going to be significant. 10%. I mean, if you want that, you're gonna have to pay for it. It no longer provides a max bonus of that cooldown reduction, because instead it's now a unique passive. So it's going to be interesting. The Chrono Vor here is the only one that provides that mana regen as well. Actually no, sorry. They both all of them have their purpose. So look at that. Very interesting. Definitely as a caster, you can definitely think about getting that cooldown reduction, as it does suit your purpose much more here. Very interesting. Very, very interesting that that they've done that. I kind of like it. I really do like it. Rangers have their crit bonus that is unique. Casters have that cooldown reduction, or if as a Richter, getting one of these is going to be actually really quite effective for him. You know, it gives casters something unique for them to get that really helps them do what they do best. And we are in game all of a sudden because they don't talk about the rest of the cards that I think are going to be monstrous in Monolith, and something that you need to consider. So a lot of those cards were actually ones that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. Now here, one that they didn't talk about was Blink Charm. You can tell, obviously, I guess that the cooldown is not changing. It's not changing from 180 seconds, so it's still going to remain 180 seconds, short teleport forward. Very, very important. Lots of people use it now. You're probably certainly more than aware of it. But again, with the changes to Teleblink being only 75 mana, my goodness. I would say if you're an intellect, use Teleblink instead of Blink Charm. Blink Shot a little more. You have to really make sure that you get that last hit. But again, if people are going to be doing more damage now, now in Monolith, maybe it'll be a little bit easier. Who knows? But Blink Charm certainly would be a safe bet to go there in Monolith. The next one here is Stab Link. It's the other one. They don't mention a Stab Link. Consume 20% of your base health to teleport forward. Cannot be used for 5 seconds after taking damage from an enemy hero. I guess they found 20% of your base health to be a-okay. Just because they have switched up mana so much in Monolith, they want it to be. They want it to be something that you consider more often. You can, if you want, burn through your mana, but you can as well conserve it. Conserve it and spread that damage more over a long period of time. So I think maybe Stab Link, that's why they didn't change it. Something you definitely need to consider as well. This next one is certainly interesting. Somebody like a Grux will very much like this, obviously because of that bleed. For 6 seconds, gain a stack of 40 max movement speed and 5.5 attack speed for each nearby bleeding unit, with a maximum of 280 and 38. So I very much like the idea of this. It enables a Grux to be right in the middle, right in the thick of things, and uses ultimate. Use Seek and Destroy to get that huge bonus, and then go after those heroes that decide to escape with the various mechanics that are going to be more used now. So this is going to ensure that you are more effective when you do choose to use that bleed and use that Seek and Destroy. I'd like it also as a split push opportunity. If you see a split push coming, or a gank happening on you, you can just hit your ultimate, hit this, and book it out of there. Now it's going to be incredibly valuable because there's no travel mode, so that they can just run right up to you. So it's going to be much more valuable. Definitely consider Seek and Destroy on your Corruption heroes. I think that while this is certainly a very picky card, it is going to be really annoying to deal with. If you are up against an Aegean Scorch, especially in lane, or there's one on the enemy team, and you want to counter the snot out of them while burning, gain 16.5 attack speed and 160 max movement speed. Oh boy. If you're Chimera and you want to completely nullify a Aegean Scorch, this is the card you want. If you're a Greystone and you want to counter an Aegean Scorch, I think he's actually really good counter as well, because Aegean Scorch deals damage a lot over time and he can just take it. Greystone can take it. So having this with that max movement speed, oh boy, any Fury hero really that wants that max movement speed, it's going to hurt that Aegean Scorch so much. You're going to be able to get away, and you're going to be able to follow him like nobody's business. So it's definitely something you should consider if you want to build an anti-Aegean Scorch sort of deck on a particular hero. This is the card you should use. Now, this is one of my favorite cards as a support Richter, as a support tank. Steal, slow nearby enemies by 250 max movement speed for 2 seconds with cooldown 45 seconds. Crazy. Steal, you ult in once the enemies are on the ground, and then you can shield wall them towards your enemy, and then once they land from that, then you use this to slow them. Ugh, monstrous. As a Richter, you use your pull into your ultimate, into your silence and slow, into this. The control is out of this world. Something you guys need to consider, because even if you are a support tank, you can use this to slow an enemy that is going after your friendly, your ranger that you're trying to protect. So the implications of this is monstrous. With the mana regen as well, it's going to be even more important, because mana is going to be a really important thing that you need to manage. Such a strong card. Think about using Shockwave on any intellect hero as well. I kind of wanted to use this as on my gadget to slow enemies while I suck them into my ultimate with the stasis gem, and then guys, the potential is out of this world, even on a Gideon, for example. This next one here, with the changes to Chimera, this one scares the hell out of me. Use this on a Chimera on a Rampage that is going to be pretty bruisery. Boy, with Chimera's leap every 5 seconds, you can use this to remove the debuff that the enemy has saved for that moment that you don't have your leap, and then you can just debuff and still stick on them. This one card is going to make Chimera absolutely, completely overpowered. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but do not underestimate the power of this card here coming up in Monolith, because everybody's going to be using all those other cards I just mentioned to try to slow you down, while Hunter's Guile can completely nullify every single one of them. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we end up with one that you've probably forgotten about, or you don't really consider the value of it. Portal Stone. Teleports your hero to allied tower, inhibitor, or team core. Of course you can use this to escape. I actually don't even know if there's how long you have to use this to channel, if it's instantaneous. I'm not even aware, because I haven't even used it before. So I am going to be considering myself using Portal Stone here in Monolith in order to teleport to allied structures. If I'm a great defender hero, I can use that to defend lanes, to surprise enemy, to surprise enemies with a global presence. You know, do a four-man tower dive, and then have the enemy think that they're going to punish you by split pushing a few of your towers you've left empty, and then use this to go over there to protect a tower because you're a fantastic tower defender. Amazing. Do not underestimate Portal Stone. Please, guys, think about using it here in Monolith. That, guys, summarizes all of the cards there that have changed, that all of the important changes, and all of the cards that I feel are very, very important in Monolith. Please, ladies and gentlemen, consider using the more obscure cards that we talked about, not only those blink shots, those blink cards, and the ones that are common. Consider using all of the cards now, because that is what's going to give you an edge in Monolith. Those random cards that people say, how did they get away from me? Where they rage quit and say, I couldn't touch that Twin Blast. Please consider doing that, because that's what's going to give you an edge in Monolith. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, guys, because I want people to learn about these cards and try them out and have a more diverse battlefield. Please consider subscribing as well. Lots of Monolith content coming, because boy, do we have to change a lot of things, learn a lot of stuff, and I just want to help you out with that. Or if you simply just enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. Until next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.